I was growing up, one of my favorite things to do was have sleepovers. We would do lots of fun things like watch movies, paint our nails, and bake chocolate chip cookies. The cookies were probably my favorite part. Even if we ended up just eating the dough, they were always so good. This brings me to the topic of my speech, chocolate chip cookies. I think that most people should know how to bake a chocolate chip cookie, especially because the base can be used to make lots of other types of cookies. Right now we're in the middle of a pandemic, which means social distancing and all of us staying inside. So everyone needs some fun and easy things to do. According to Business Insider, published on March 16, 2013, there are 7 billion chocolate chip cookies eaten in the United States every year, with about 50% of those being homemade cookies. Chocolate chip cookies are one of the best cookies, and everyone should know how to make them, especially with the perfect recipe. I will be telling you the history of chocolate chip cookies, what chocolate chip cookies are like today, and how to make the perfect chocolate chip cookie. The history of a chocolate chip cookie. Chocolate chip cookies were invented 82 years ago by Ruth Wakefield at the Toll House restaurant in Massachusetts. There are a lot of stories about how the cookies were invented, but the most likely explanation is that Ruth, whose restaurant was famed for its desserts, probably spent a long time developing the recipe. The cookie was created as an accompaniment to ice cream and gained fame when Betty Crocker mentioned it on her radio show sometime around 1938. According to The New Yorker, published on December 19, 2013, Ruth was offered $1 by Nestle for the rights to her cookie and the name Toll House on March 20th, 1939. She later said that she never got the dollar. Now that you know a little bit of the history, let's see if they have changed today. Chocolate chip cookies today haven't changed very much at their very core, but you can make many different variations based on your dietary needs or just general preferences. I personally can't have gluten, so I make gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. Other variations I have seen are vegan, nut-free, vegetarian, or sugar-free. Many people will change the recipe with add-ons like nuts and oats. While some people may feel that this tarnishes the cookie or makes it not a true chocolate chip cookie, I think that it shows how we have put our own spin on a classic. According to the Los Angeles Times, on October 1st, 2019, chocolate chip cookie trends are a reflection of our times in America, which is why I'm going to give you the perfect recipe, how to make the perfect chocolate chip cookie. You will need 1.5 cups or 200 grams of all-purpose flour, 3/4 of a teaspoon or 4 grams of kosher salt, 3/4 of a teaspoon or 4 grams of baking soda, 3/4 of a cup, 1.5 sticks or 169 grams of butter, a cup, 200 grams of packed brown sugar, 1/4 of a cup, 50 grams of granulated white sugar, 1 whole egg and 2 egg yolks, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 6 ounces or 170 grams of semi-sweet chocolate chips. You're going to want to start by preheating your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius, and then whisking together 1.5 cups, 200 grams of all-purpose flour, 3/4 of a teaspoon or 4 grams of kosher salt, and 3/4 of a teaspoon, 4 grams of baking soda. Next, you're going to want to melt 1/2 cup, 1 stick, or 113 grams of butter until the butter foams and browns. This should take about 4 minutes. Remove from the heat and then slowly add the other 1/4 of a cup, 1/2 stick, or 56 grams of butter until melted. It helps if you cube it first. Whisk in 1 cup or 200 grams of packed brown sugar, 1/4 of a cup, 50 grams of granulated white sugar until combined with no lumps. Whisk in 1 whole egg and 2 egg yolks and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Slowly fold in the dry ingredients until there are no dry spots, and then fold in 6 ounces or 170 grams of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Scoop 3 tablespoon balls onto 2 parchment-lined baking sheets, making sure that they are evenly spread out. Bake for 8 to 10 minutes, rotating to make sure they brown evenly. Let cool on the baking sheet, and that's it. According to Bon Appetit, in April of 2019, the addition of the brown butter really puts these cookies over the top. It makes them crispy edged, chewy centered, and still rooted in classic cookie flavor. Oh, and there's no mixer required, so there's no excuse not to make them. In the last few minutes, I've given you the history of chocolate chip cookies, told you about what they're like today, and given you the perfect recipe for them. Chocolate chip cookies are the best cookie, and with the perfect recipe, everyone should know how to make them. Chocolate chip cookies have always been a favorite of mine, and while we've been stuck inside recently, I've been baking a lot of them with this recipe. And I don't think there's any other way to be social distancing.